YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Prince Harry has struck again. So he went online with GQ magazine and he has actually scored himself a front cover with quite a notorious figure now, Patrick Hutchinson. And they are both sharing this front cover for GQ magazine this month. And this is all in celebration of our Black History Month that Meghan delightfully said in one of their interviews. She had no idea that we had a British Black History Month, which really did highlight how little time she actually spent in Britain and how disconnected she really is with what it is to pretty much be Black and especially be Black British. She took no time out to get to know about our customs and rituals over in the UK and how we do things. So it's very insulting, especially for me as a Black British woman. But that's a separate thing. During this interview, where Harry actually kind of moderately successfully doesn't really talk too much about himself, because we know that he doesn't really have much to say these days. He has no real value to add to any type of discussion because all he really wants to talk about is online hate and social media negativity, etc., etc. So he didn't really go in on his personal life as much as he usually does, but he did, technically speaking, still Patrick Hutchinson's moment. And I have a lot of respect for Patrick Hutchinson. He is now considered to be a Black British activist. He also has a book that he's currently co-authoring with someone else, which he mentioned in this interview, which is really great. I really am excited for him. He's definitely had a big year. He definitely does summarize what a lot of people feel the Black Lives Movement should be. It's not about black against white, it's just about leveling the playing field to some extent. So this isn't really about Patrick, this is about Harry. And I found this article by the Mail Online and I did have a watch of the interview. It's 36 minutes long and I do not have that amount of time today. So I got about halfway. And quite a few things did stand out to me. The first issue that I had with Harry during this interview was that he is 5,463 miles away, firstly. Now, why is Harry looking at the issues going on in modern day Britain and really focusing on the racial injustices and the racial issues that we have going on over here when they left? Now, my understanding is that America is significantly bigger than the UK. We are just as significant on an international level, but America is significantly bigger. And the issue I have with Harry talking to Patrick Hutchinson, and I know it's not Patrick Hutchinson's fault, is that I felt as though he really did try and piggy bank off of what this guy independently has achieved by himself. So that really annoyed me. And this behaviour that Harry has admitted and has demonstrated today mirrors and echoes the behaviour that her and Harry displayed when they reached out to Ashley Banjo, who is currently a judge on Britain's Got Talent, regarding the whole uproar of his dance group Diversity doing a Black Lives Matter performance. And a lot of people complained and called in and they was really upset and they felt it was inappropriate for a kids daytime telly show to have such an emotive performance on there. They felt it was inappropriate and their ratings significantly plummeted. And they've had to cancel their Christmas episode, I believe. Why is it that Harry and Meghan feel as though they have the right to preach and chime in on what we're doing over here? They left the UK. Meghan wasn't even aware that there was a Black History Month, which means that Harry was ignorant to the fact that there's a Black History Month. And although he married someone who is biracial, who is of a mixed origin, who is of Black origin, They clearly wasn't having those talks and discussions when they was getting to know each other, when they was in the UK. It was all about themselves. Now suddenly black British people are a thing, and what's going on with our race relations over here in the UK is significant for the pair. This is why I have an issue with Meghan and Harry. As a black British woman, as I've said on this channel before, I can't be anything else but black. And Patrick Hutchinson actually said something quite prominent during the interview, and he talked about the way in which dark-skinned girls especially are made to feel unlovable, are made to feel at points, this is not all the time, but can get that idea from society without representation, etc., etc., that they're unattractive. So he said that he always made sure to check in with his 3 daughters, who are dark-skinned black girls, to let them know that they are beautiful and to tell them that they are beautiful. And Harry kind of hung his head in shame, because what Harry and Meghan are trying to do is compare their experience to regular black people, and that just doesn't wash. And the reason why that doesn't wash for me personally is because Meghan was ticking the Caucasian box for plus 20 years of her, well, I can't even call it a major career, but for plus 20 years while she was on this grind to get to the position that she's in now, to be a known celebrity, a known somebody. And that's what I find quite insulting, is that they are now trying to stand on the shoulders of the Black Lives Matter movement when it clearly is something that wasn't high on their agenda when they were here and when they was in their positions as senior royals. When they were senior royals, they could have been having this conversation. If race relations really was important to Meghan and Harry, while they was in Britain, Meghan would have known that there was a Black History Month every October. Meghan also would have celebrated Black History Month in February for the American side. She didn't know any of these things. She didn't post about Black Lives Matter or the Black History Month in February. She didn't acknowledge Black History Month while she was here for 16 months. So it's all very hypocritical and fake. I'm going to get into this a bit more. Harry did give this guy the floor, but I think it's so unfortunate, as I said, that Patrick had to share this front cover, this very nice GQ front cover with Harry. And I think that that wrecked it for me personally. It was something that Patrick should have had on his own. He's the one who committed the selfless act, and therefore he should have been honoured with having that independently of the piggy banking Prince Harry. So I'm going to read a little bit of this article by the Daily Mail, and it's had over 5,300 comments thus far. So the article is titled "Prince Harry Says He Didn't Know Unconscious Bias Existed Despite My Education and Upbringing Until He Walked a Day in Meghan's Shoes," as he interviews BLM campaigner who rescued white counter-protester. Harry admitted he did not know unconscious racist bias existed until he was living a day or a week in my wife's shoes following his marriage to Meghan Markle. And, they're so desperate to still frame what Meghan went through over here as racially motivated. It's quite ridiculous and cringeworthy to read that, because she did not experience racism in the UK. Their desperation to frame it as racism in order to really get the lefties on their side, in order to really get the sugars going and to really keep the sugars on side, because we know that the sugars like to believe that Meghan was a true victim of racially motivated media scrutiny, which is simply not the case. So I think I'm going to come back and do a part 2, and it will be posted after this one. Bye guys.